Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Breakfast Central. I am Udoka Njoko. Ghanaian Women's League champions Ampem Dakwa showed superiority once again on Monday in the second semi-final of the CAF Women's Champions League WAFU B qualifiers with a 6-1 spanking of Sam Nelly. The Dakwa ladies will now face Nigeria's Delta Queens in the epic final of the competition. The Asaba-based team, that is Delta Queens, they defeated Atletico Football Club of Ivory Coast 3-2 in the semi-final held at the Samuel Ogbemodia Stadium, Benin City, Edo State on Monday. The winner of the qualification tourney will represent WAFU Zone B in the preliminary stage of the 2023 CAF Women's Champions League. Away from that one, now let's go straight to Europe as the Chelsea striker Romelu Lukaku has agreed to join Serie A side AS Roma on a season-long loan deal. The deal includes an £8 million loan fee and, of course, Roma will be covering the 30-year-old Belgian's wages. Inter Milan had hoped Lukaku, who is not part of Mauricio Pochettino's plans at Chelsea, would return to the club where he spent last season on loan. Juventus were also keen to sign Lukaku, who were unable to make the changes required to the squad. Now, the move to Roma means that Lukaku will be reunited with Jose Mourinho, who persuaded him to join Manchester United ahead of Chelsea when he moved to the Old Trafford outfit from Everton in 2017. Now, Saudi Arabia seems to be claiming all superstars in the world of football, and this time around, the ex-Italy coach Roberto Mancini is now the new manager of Saudi Arabia with a promise to lead the country to Asian Cup victory within months. He signed a multi-million-dollar deal on Monday, just a fortnight after quitting as the coach of the Italian national team. The former Inter Milan and the Manchester City boss held up a green shirt that read Mancini 2027 after inking a contract to stay with the Green Falcons beyond the next World Cup. Mancini, who has insisted that the oil-rich monarchy had nothing to do with his shock Italy exit, he was reportedly offered more than $25 million to join the big spending Saudis. The 58-year-old coach is just the latest high-profile acquisition for the world's top oil exporter, which has snapped up some top footballers in a spree costing hundreds of millions of dollars. And from there, let's go straight to Spain as the Football Federation regional leaders have called on the president, Luis Rubiales, to immediately resign from his position. The 46-year-old has been widely criticized after the incident following Spain's Women's World Cup final win. 33-year-old Hermoso said the kiss on her lips was not consensual. Earlier on, Spanish prosecutors opened an investigation into whether the incident amounts to a crime of sexual assault. In other developments, Rubiales' mother, Angelis Bejar, has locked herself in a Spanish church and gone on a hunger strike in protest of the treatment of her son. In the evening, hundreds of people gathered in the center of Madrid in protest called by feminist groups in support of Hermoso and against Rubiales. And talking about Spain, now let's go straight to football action in the Spanish La Liga. Getafe defeated Deportivo Alaves by 1-0, while Atletico Madrid taught Rayo Vallecano footballing lessons as the away team. Atletico won that game 7-0. In the Italia Serie A, we also saw two games go down. Inter Milan achieved a 2-0 away from home result to Cagliari, and Salernitana and Udinese played out a 1-1 draw. Now let's go straight to the world of tennis. China's Ling Zhu moved into the second round of the US Open by defeating Egyptian Maya Sherif 6-3, 7-5 at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in New York on Monday. Now Zhu was dominant behind her serve in the 1 hour, 23 minutes encounter, knocking out her higher-ranked opponent in straight sets. The world number 44 will play Belarusian Victoria Azarenka, the number 18 seed, in the next round. Still talking tennis now. Top seed Iga Swiatek kicked off her US Open title defense with a demolition job over Rebecca Peterson, while 8th seed Maria Sakkari made an early exit. 22-year-old four-time Grand Slam champion Swiatek dropped just 8 points as she took the first set to love against Sweden's Peterson. Now, Peterson got on the board early in the second set, but of course it was Poland Swiatek who completed a comprehensive 6-love, 6-1 victory in just 58 minutes. Swiatek said that her tank was pretty empty after losing in Montreal and Cincinnati semifinals earlier this month, but showed no lack of vigor as she blazed through to a meeting with Daria Saville of Australia. All right, that's a wrap on a Breakfast Central Sports Update. I am Udoka Njoku. But of course, good morning, Olive and Osauge. Great things happening in the world of sports. And for Osauge, would you want to get Lukaku back to Manchester United? Let me have Olive's reaction on that one.
Well, you already asked Osauge. I think Osauge should take that.
No, Lukaku, no. I mean, he's going to Roma, so he's having a really tough time in his career, and I feel bad for him. I think he probably even went to Roma to kneel down the gate and beg, please let me in, please let me in.
Wow.
Before they got this loan deal. But, back to Manchester United now. I think we've moved past the Lukaku stage. I think we're playing, a different type of football now that he may not be able to fit into. Currently, I think we're trying to improve on the pace of the football, and Lukaku, in the time that he was at Manchester United, I don't think he would even want to come back.
Okay, and just reacting to one of the stories there, I do hope that the case on sexual assault is investigated to the latter, because you can't kiss a player and claim right. I watched a clip of him saying, I will not resign, I will not resign.
No, but here's the thing, can it be argued that it was, a moment of excitement? I mean, they had just won the World Cup.
It should never happen, no matter how, how excited you are.
I agree.
We see situations where female players get to score goals, great goals, and they go celebrate with their coaches. Why don't the coaches just decide to give them cases and all of that? I think it is just...
I 100% agree. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. And also, if you realize that she didn't even find it awkward until the news media started...
She was celebrating at that time.
Well, as a woman, I would say that sometimes, in the heat of it, right? Excuse me.
If you don't feel assaulted, if you don't feel like there's anything wrong
out to say.
No, but what I'm saying is she didn't find anything wrong with it until the news media started to blow it up.
No, that doesn't take away anything from it.
The very first story about it, she said she didn't find anything wrong with it.
Okay. But then
the very first story about it.
From the investigations going forward, for Hermoso, she came out to say it wasn't consensual. And
obviously it wasn't consensual.
Exactly. So I think for her, it's her own defense, because she didn't ask for that case. It happened at the spur of the moment. And for me, I think it is just the president being headstrong. He should resign, swallow your pride. And
did he even apologize?
Well, again,
did he even apologize?
I mean, he can apologize. At this point, I don't even think anybody would like to hear the apology, because again, this is the point that I'm making. I get it optically in every way, shape, and form. It was wrong, but the thing is, I feel like we should not be so eager to cut down. Like every single moment that we find, the whole world is trying to scatter everything. Like in that moment, they had just won the World Cup. He was extremely excited. She was the same thing. We as Africans do not kiss each other, in those moments. But in those parts of the world, I'm guessing it's a more common thing for them to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was wrong, no doubt. But if she didn't feel...
She'd come out to say that she felt that way. Sometimes when it comes to cases...
If it wasn't blown up the way that it has been...
When it comes to cases sometimes where you feel violated, your first reaction is shock. And because we've been conditioned, I say that women have been conditioned to be nice. Your first reaction is shock. You want to be nice and protect this person, even though you were uncomfortable with this. And because I've seen this happen to a number of people. So I can't excuse his actions. In the heat of my excitement, I hope not to get so carried away and kiss you on live TV. In the heat of my excitement.
Well,
will I feel violated and say that you should be fired?
Well, that's up to you.
Another thing is Hermoso is also being investigated because some have tagged her as a liar. Because initially she said she felt nothing about it, and now she said it wasn't consensual.
I mean, that's
what I'm saying.
Investigated as
because the narrative has changed since the whole world then decided it was their fight.
Well, we understand this. All of this just shows us. I mean, there are so many layers to this conversation. I hope that further investigation is carried out, and the rightful decision is taken. Thank you so much, Udoka Njoku, for bringing us these stories.
Thank you very much.
And please don't get excited and kiss anybody. It will not end in that way.
I sure will not do that.
Better. I went ahead, I sure will. There was a break there.